Orange Theory Minnetonka Transformation Challenge members. Today we are going to go over a little guided mobility session together. So if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Maggie. I'm Coach Maggie. I work at Orange Theory and I also work outside of Orange Theory as a chiropractor. So we're going to do a little flow together. We have about 5 minutes and we'll just go together so you can turn this on anytime and then you know when to do it. Cool. So we're going to start seated on our glutes, leaning back just a little bit so you can use your hands to support you, taking a wider stance, and then we're just gonna shift our knees side to side. The goal here, we wanna try and keep both glutes on the ground as best as we can, and you can see I probably need to be doing this right now. So we'll do that about 4 to 5 times on each side, just settling on in, getting nice and comfy, and just feeling those hips open up, trying to get a little bit closer to the ground. Option here, you can always sit up a little bit higher or lean back a little bit more if that feels better for you today. Each day might be a little bit different, and that's okay. The next one we're gonna take a look at, we're gonna go over to the side. It's gonna be a figure 4. So we're gonna pop your ankle on opposite knee, and then if this feels like a really big and spicy stretch for you, just hang out here. You can shift side to side a little bit. Otherwise, if you want a little bit more heat, let's lay back and then add in that shift, bringing your foot flat to the ground here and then shift back up. So we'll do 5 on one side here. Take your time, nice and slow on the way down. Pause at the bottom to feel an extra stretch through that foot rotation, through your glutes here, and a little bit of a side body stretch as well, and then come back up. Once again, you can always lighten this up, modify a little bit by sitting up more, and then we'll switch sides. So same thing, opposite ankle, opposite heel on opposite knee, and then we're just going all the way down, bringing that foot flat to the ground, or as close to the ground as possible. If you get right here, and then you come back up, that's totally fine too. Just find that control, take your time in here. This is gonna be really good for that low back, once again, glute, hips, all of that stuff that we work heavily on, especially if we're running a lot. And the goal is to keep shoulders flat on the ground the entire time too, so we're getting that full body twist. And once again, I'm gonna reiterate this a ton of times. If you can only get to here, then just come back up. As you do more mobility, that range of motion will follow. The next one we're gonna bring our knees to about 90 degrees, arms are gonna tee out, and then it's similar, but we're just moving both legs at the same time. So this one might feel a little bit spicier. So if you're only going side to side, that's fine. If you don't go all the way down to the ground, that's fine too. Trying to keep both shoulders down on the ground, keeping your knees close to each other, maybe not completely together though. So we'll go 4 to 5 times on each side. Find that control. This is also working the core a little bit, but it's gonna open up a little bit higher up in that mid-back range, where the other one was a little bit more low back hips. When we're done here, we're gonna pop on up, flip over. We're gonna get into a runner's lunge, which means that back knee is gonna be on the ground. We're in a 90-degree bend of those front legs, and then our hands are gonna come to the inside of that front foot. And then we wanna shift forward a little bit and then reach and rotate towards that front knee. So really open up here, find that control coming back down, and then open up. So we'll go 5 times. Opening towards that front knee, and you can go as slow or as fast as feels good to you. Sometimes slower is going to get you a little bit deeper into that stretch. And then when we're done with that last rep, I think it was 5, but I wasn't counting super closely, we're going to shift back here and ease into a hamstring stretch. So you'll feel the back of your hamstrings light up here, and then we'll shift back forward. So we want to keep moving the entire time for more of a dynamic stretch with these exercises. That's gonna help increase your range of motion, so then you can lift heavier on the floor and run super fast on those treadmills or power walk at those super high inclines. So once again, couple shifts here, taking your time, easing into it. And then after that 4th or 5th rep, whatever feels good to you, we're gonna pop our hands back down, get back to tabletop, and then we'll switch. So now we'll go on to that opposite side. Once again, rotating open and bringing it back down. Option here, if this doesn't feel good, you can take that lunge out a little bit less, and then we still wanna open up through that mid-back and really follow your hand up with your eyes. So take your time with this, do whatever feels good to you. You might need to decrease those range of motions at any point, and that's totally okay. Once again, when we're finished with that, we're gonna sink back into that hamstring stretch, and then lunge back forward. So we're getting a nice deep knee bend and then trying to get our knee as straight as possible. If you don't have any knee bend and you're feeling it spice up that hamstring right here, that's fine too. Once again, every single day is gonna be different. Every day is gonna feel a little bit different, and that's normal, and that's fine. So do that 4 or 5 times, sinking forward, extending back. Working through that there. We'll go one more here, big stretch, and then finish. The next one we're gonna be doing is a thread the needle, which you have probably seen at Orange Theory before. With this thread the needle, we're really targeting our upper mid back. So we wanna make sure our glutes are as close to our heels as we can get. Then go into a child's pose position. So arms extended out. We're gonna reach under our shoulder with our opposite hand. And then as we come out, we're getting that rotation again. So just like we did with that last one, we want to keep following our hand with our eyes. And this is just going to target more of that upper mid back, that area that gets a lot of work done, especially with a lot of rowing. So just slow, controlled option here. You can always take it to a tabletop and work through it from that angle for a little bit less heat, a little bit more stability, and a little bit more control. So do that 3 to 4 times on each side. Once again, keep following that hand up and take your time through this movement. Breathing nice and slow through it. You might get a little gas like I am, and that's okay. So from there, we're gonna work into a little bit of shoulder mobility. We only have 2 more exercises we're gonna do, so we're almost done, I promise. You're like, this is the longest thing I've ever done in my entire life, but it's good for you and it feels good. All right, team, coming up. We're going prone, so we're gonna be face down on the ground. I like to sometimes grab a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball and put it under my forehead so that my face isn't in the mat. But I didn't prepare, so that's okay. So I'm gonna put my face down in the mat. Or right now, since I'm demoing, I'm gonna stay up a little bit higher so you can hear me. You can also take this option. So it's like a baby cobra. And then we're just gonna sweep our arms out behind us and then sweep them out in front. So as we sweep back, we wanna tilt our palms up towards the ceiling. And then as we go forward, tilt them back towards the ground. So we're working all of that shoulder range of motion here, finding that control. Take your time. Slow and steady. Option here, you can always come up from underneath, open up, sweep through, and then reach through here rather than going out and back. This is gonna be really good for those shoulders. You can always go one arm at a time if you wanna do like a true swimmer motion. Any movement through those shoulder blades in this position is gonna be helpful. So whatever feels good to you, we'll do a couple more sweeps. Nice and slow, and take your time here. Cool, cool. Last one. This one is super, super good, especially if you're dealing with a little bit of low back pain. It can feel really relieving, or you might be like, this is super spicy, and if it is, you know who to call. So, hands are gonna be planted. We're gonna shift our hips back into a child's pose position. So palms are face down, head is face down, so head is looking down at the mat. And then from here, we're gonna shift forward into a baby cobra position. So hands are flat, chest is opening up nice and tall, and then we're getting that little arch in the low back, getting that extension there, and then we're gonna shift back into child's pose. So we're just working through this, rocking through. Option here, you can reduce the range of motion at any time. So you can go from here to here, and if that feels good, that is totally fine. Or if neither of those feel great, you can always do a cat-cow, which is reaching up, letting that belly sink nice and low, and then pressing our spine up towards the ceiling, getting that nice arch through our entire back here. So this is another option instead of that cobra to child's pose. So once again, cobra to child's pose, we're pushing back child's pose, and then extending up for that cobra. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm in the studio Monday and Friday mornings and Saturdays throughout most of that morning as well. Otherwise, you can always call, email, text, whatever you need. I'm here to help. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you all soon.